In terms of the risks, when you're taken out of the office environment and you're working from home or wherever you're working remotely, different psychologies come into play. For instance, we've seen with everyone working from home over the last couple of years, incidents of email banking fraud, for instance, go up. So someone in the accounts department's working from home, gets the email, please don't send the money here, send it here. And instead of just turning around and checking with the accounts manager or the CFO, can I make this transfer? They press the send button, and of course it's a fraud. So that's just a very simple example of how perhaps office protocols and policies aren't followed if people are working remotely and not in the office where those policies and protocols are strictly adhered to. There's other issues that you perhaps wouldn't necessarily think about, like when your employees are working from home, are they insured? If they trip on their way from the kitchen to the living room with a cup of tea, if they do that in the office, they've got occupiers liability insurance. Is that the same at home? I don't have an answer to that. If they're working remotely in a different country, but their employment contract says that the employment contract is governed by Hong Kong law, if now you're working in Singapore and there's a dispute, which law applies? So in terms of rules and regulations and policies, there's grey areas. I would also say that in terms of people working from home, and if you're a professional services company, there might be issues over, say, confidentiality. When you're working at home, do other people in Hong Kong, in our buildings that we all share, quite often I can log on to next door's Wi-Fi if I have a password or if they don't have a password. The same goes if you're in Starbucks with your laptop. You're working on a public server rather than the office. So there's all sorts of issues on confidentiality and information sharing, and even working at home. I know, for instance, plenty of lawyers who are married, fortunately or not, to other lawyers. So do they have to send their other half out of the room or the house or flat while they're having a Zoom call, the 15th Zoom call of the day? So there's just all sorts of issues arising from working from home. I'm not saying it's a bad idea. Different industries, different businesses, it's good and bad. Advantages, disadvantages. I'm just saying there's lots of issues arising legally which have to be addressed, but addressed in a very fundamental way. Whether it's a company that says 100% home working, or it's going to be a hybrid version, it's going to have to be rules which apply to that situation. And protocols and enforcement and implementation of those rules and protocols.